Yo guys, what's going on? Blossom's back. Welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now with every single update, it's customary for some cars to get buffed and some cars to get nerfed. There's always going to be winners and losers of every single update. And in today's video, I want to talk about the cars, the winners and the losers of update 23. I think you would know some really big changes, like the Suzuki Ignis, for example, going from medium ground clearance to low ground clearance. But did you know that the GMC Denali XT getting a 1 RQ handling buff has actually made a significant impact in the rare meta? Those are the things that I want to cover today. I've selected over 20 changes, and we're going to alternate between the winners and the losers of update 23. So without further ado, we're going to start with a winner over here. This is a PL22 photo. I know some people don't like me to use, they don't like it when I use the PL, because actually it shouldn't be PL because that stands for pre-launch. I understand, but you know, you can't really, bad habits die hard. Old habits die hard. That's the saying, isn't it? Anyway, that's an old photo. So the Serve 2 got a nice little MRA bump. It went from 71 MRA to 87. You get to see the new version of the Chevrolet Serve 2 in this little Top Drives Records comparison. And the RQ also went up from 85 to 88. Now, the 87 MRA is a significant change for the Chevy, I think, because it's got a ridiculously low 0 to 60 and a high top speed, making it pretty useful. I mean, look at this. It's able to actually take the quarter mile away from the Porsche 917, as well as the 0 to 100, which is very impressive. Also, it's able to beat some other four-wheel drive counterparts like the Peugeot Oxia and the Roof R Turbo, both cars of which are, more expensive to use in terms of RQ. But as long as you put the Chevy on the drags, it knows where it wants to excel in. So I think that this is a great little buff for this car. It'll be a great car to unpack. Now, moving on to the first loser of the video is the Chevrolet Camaro. This has gone from medium to low ground clearance, one of the mini cars that went from medium to low ground clearance. And I gotta say, man, massive RQ decrease, right? It went from RQ 64, it got an 8 RQ decrease, and now I think it's sitting at RQ 56. So you're telling me that this thing was 64, it was 8 RQ higher because it was medium. Like if this car was exactly the same, a low counterpart and a medium counterpart, that the medium would be 8 RQ higher. I think giving a car an 8 RQ boost is way too damn high just because you're medium. It's crazy how much inflation the RQ can be sometimes. But yeah, it went from medium to low. RQ went from 64 to 56. That's, again, this photo over here that you see is a update 22 photo. That will change after this Peugeot 208. After this car, every big photo that you see here will be the current photo, the update 23 photo. But anyway, the Peugeot 208 is a winner in my opinion. The RQ did go up. It went from 42 to 44, so it got a 2 RQ increase, making it a bit more expensive to use. But at the same time, I think that is justified because the handling increase went from 85 to 87. Now, that is particularly huge because 85, when you max it out, it's a plus 9. It goes up to 94. But 87, if you max it out, is a plus 10. It goes to 97, as long as you 233. So I'm looking forward to actually upgrading and collecting another Peugeot 208 R2, getting that 233, and seeing if it can make some significant impact at 97 handling. Currently I only have one, and that's 323, and that is 96 handling. But yeah, that 2 RQ handling buff is significant for a lightweight, nimble car such as the Peugeot 208 R2. Now moving on to the next loser of this update, and now we're looking at, update 23 photos, so the most recent photos as you will see in the game right now. As of recording this video, is the Alfa Romeo Brera 3.2. So this got a handling decrease by 4, which is a huge blow because this was one of my go-to wet Italian super rares. We need to remember that, Italian cars, they don't have a lot of standard tire representation, right? So this was one of the wet go-tos because I think back when it had like 82 handling, it would get to 91 handling fully upgraded with four-wheel drive, which made it very, very useful. Now it's 78, it's only going to max out at 86 handling, which is not the best thing in the world. So yeah, it went from 82 handling down to 78, and the RQ has also fallen. Now it's our RQ 44. It used to be 48, so it went down by 4 RQ. So that's a pretty big blow for the Alfa. I don't think it'll be a very useful car anymore because handling is one of the most important factors for a car like this. Moving on to our next winner is the Plymouth Hemi Cuda. This didn't get any stat changes, but it got an RQ decrease. So the Platinum Hemi Cuda was already a fantastic car to use, and now it's even more of a bargain. It used to be RQ 36, now it's a 33, and it's ridiculous. The fact that it's able to trade blows with an RQ 41 Aston Martin V8 Vantage and be that much cheaper is insane. I do not know why the Hemi Cuda has gone down to 33. It really makes no sense to me whatsoever. This thing was already borderline OP for a 36. I could have seen this go up to a 37, but it went down to a 33. It's essentially one of the best rare dragsters in the game, and it's RQ30. It went down by 3. I think this is a winner because, you know, just a really good car just got better, right? It's cheaper to use now. Now, first big loser, one of the biggest losers of this update, unfortunately, is the Suzuki Ignis Super 1600. Went from medium ground clearance to low ground clearance. The RQ has also decreased by 6, going from 59 to 54. But honestly, this thing is completely useless. It's redundant now. As recording on the day I'm recording this, the previous day, so yesterday, right, was front wheel drive, and it was city living in clubs as well. And you know, usually when it's front wheel drive city living, people will be using the Suzuki Ignis left, right, and center. The thing is gone. The thing is gone. And it's just not a good low ground clearance front wheel drive car. There are better options to use. So the Suzuki Ignis Super is unfortunately cancelled. This thing is useless now. Now another winner is the Draco GTE. The RQ has increased by 1, but the MRA, well, the MRA didn't really decrease. I actually didn't write the other thing. The MRA actually decreased from 89 to 87. But the 0 to 60 also decreased. So in PL or update 22, the Draco in a 0 to 60 of 2.9 seconds, now it's 2.6 seconds. So the RQ actually went, I mean not the RQ, but the 0 to 60 went down by 0.3 seconds. I don't know why I didn't write it here. And the RQ increased by 1. The Draco GCE is a fantastic American dragster. At 2.6 0 to 60, 87 MRA, 200 plus top speed. It is a great car to unpack. I'm actually really happy to own one now. I wasn't too psyched when I got it at the start of American Overdrive, but I'm happy to have it now. Moving on, the Fiat Barf Grande Punto S2000. Again, just like the Suzuki Ignis, the fact that this thing is low ground clearance is gonna pretty much make it redundant. The RQ has decreased by 6, so it went from 76 RQ to 70. Now, I say that this is a loser, but I will admit that the Fiat Barf Grande Punto was literally a direct help due to its nerf. So the RQ went down from 76 to 70, and it just so happened that on that day when the update dropped, the multiplayer event was that Australia versus Italy. You remember that? And the requirements was RQ 70 and below. And suddenly, because this just became RQ70, it made this car eligible for this event, and it was still a pretty good twisty car, because we still need to remember that this car can go up to 99 handling and a 0 to 60 at 3.4 seconds. So I don't think that this is going to become completely useless like the Suzuki Ignis, but it definitely is a loser of this update. It has gotten annihilated, but not as bad as the Suzuki Ignis. Moving on to another winner is the Renault Clio RS16. So the Ignis can move aside for the Renault Clio. This has remained medium ground clearance, and on top of that, its handling increased by 3 from 85 to 88, and its 0 to 60 decreased by 1 entire second, going from 6.2 seconds to 5.2 seconds. It did get a massive RQ buff. It went from, I believe it was 53 to 62. But as you can see over here, it has become a fantastic front-wheel drive medium ground clearance performance tire, ultra rare. It's capable of beating the new Megane on city streets medium. It is really good on G4s, hairpin, and karting circuit as well. I can imagine it being really good on car park and indoor karting as well. Yeah, this Clio is fantastic. I don't know if this car still has the motorsport tag, but this car used to be seen as the Joker car for the motorsport carbon fiber. It was like one of the few ultras that nobody wanted, but I can tell you now that the Renault Clio RS 1.6 is a car that I want now. It is useful. Moving on to the loser. This one's a massive loser, actually. The Holden Commodore. So this thing, the handling decreased from 77 to 76. Now, usually when you see a handling decrease like this, the RQ will decrease as well. But obviously, because that this is an Epic, it can't go down any further. Because it's a 65, because it's a Jerry, it can't go down any further. So what happened with this update is that they just made a pretty mediocre 65 become a terrible 65 by bringing down the handling. So this thing, honestly, in my eyes, should be an ultra rare. And if they ever rebalance the game one day, I wouldn't be surprised if this car went down, because that's 84 handling when you max it out. No one's gonna want to do that for a car like this. Imagine they made a tri-series where this car was one of the best. That would be such a painful feeling, because it's kind of like, oh my god, I have to fully upgrade an RQ65 GRE. And not only that, it's an RQ65 GRE that got nerfed as well, and the RQ didn't change because they couldn't bring it down any further because it's already the lowest. Yeah, this thing is terrible. Okay, another winner. 2 winners in a row is the Buick Electra as well as the Buick Inspire. Both of them got massive MRA buffs. I don't know how. I don't know where Hutch gets the time for these, concept cars. But the 0 to 60 for the Electra has decreased, so it went from 4.1 to 4 flat, 4 seconds. The MRA, massive increase, over 20 MRA. The MRA went from 64 to 88, and the RQ increased from 72 to 76. This thing with 88 MRA, I mean, that is freaking impressive. And it's the same thing for the Buick Inspire. That went from 57 to 80 MRA with an RQ increase of 3. I mean, that is just crazy. Now, moving on to our losers, the Lancia Fulvia Coupe 1.6. The handling has decreased by 2, going from 79 to 77. That also means that fully upgraded, it goes from 87 handling to, what's the number? 87 handling to 85 handling, something like that. RQ has also decreased, by the way. RQ has decreased from 48 to 45. I think it's 87. I think it's 87 when you max it out from 79. Yeah, 79. Yeah, so it goes down from 87 to yeah, that seems about right. But yeah, Lancia Fulvia. So that also got a nerf. Unfortunately, it's not going to be very useful anymore. For these off-road tire cars, handling is everything. And 85 doesn't really stand out. The Fulvia stood out in the past because of that 87 handling, but not anymore. Here's a big winner, actually, the Audi 4.2 Quattro. I think that this thing would actually be pretty decent. It got a handling increase by 1, and it's a significant one because from 86 to 87 also means that 86, when you fully upgrade that, whether it's 323 or 233, that will only get up to 95 handling. But at 87, you can actually get that up to 97 handling instead of 96. So it goes from a +9 to a +10 in terms of handling. And yeah, the R8 4.2 Quattro I would say it's actually good now. It's actually on par with the Porsche 911 4, right? In fact, you can say it's better, 3.797 compared to the Porsche's 3.897. I don't remember their MRAs at the top of my head, but the 4.2 Quattro does look like a pretty serious player in that four-wheel drive meta now. So I got nothing bad to say about this. This is a huge winner. The handling increased by 1, the RQ increased by 1, all good. Alpha 164 Q4, that has also been a massive loser. Handling decreased by 4. The RQ has also decreased by 4. Now, here's the thing. This thing used to be RQ49, and I always felt that as a four-wheel drive 49 back in update 22, it already had a really bad 0 to 60, but the only thing keeping it up was its larger-than-life handling, because it used to have a handling score of what I believe was 81, so that was 90 when you fully upgrade that, which was very impressive. Not a lot of four-wheel drive cars could hit 90 as a super rare. So that had, extraordinary handling for its niche. So that made it useful. But now it has kept its under average 0 to 60, and the handling has decreased as well. That's only 85 when you fully upgrade the Alfa Romeo. Very depressing, I would say. This used to be a fantastic, well, not really fantastic, but it was a promising car, which is now going to be completely useless. Moving on is the Renault Desire. The Desire, again, massive winner. It just became a really good twisty car to an even better twisty car. The 0 to 60 has decreased by 0.3 from 5 seconds down to 4.7. On top of that, its weight has stayed the same. Its MRA, not MRA, but its handling has stayed the same. Yes, the MRA has decreased from 52 to 47, but we need to remember that for the Desire, MRA isn't really what you want. It isn't really what you need. You're not going to use it on the drag or anything like that. It's a twisty circuit. It's a twisty road, even not even twisty circuit, twisty road, car park, G-force slalom, that kind of stuff. And on top of that, with the 0 to 60 decrease of 0.3 seconds, the RQ actually decreased as well. So it's actually cheaper to use, even though the 0 to 60 decrease. This is definitely a winner in my book. The Audi SQ8 TDI is a loser. Its handling has decreased by 1. It went from 79 handling to 78. And its 0 to 60 has decreased by 0.3. It went from 4.30 to 60 to 4.6. The RQ decreased by 2 as well, so it's out of that 79 RQ club. And it's a dime a dozen, as you can see in this comparison over here. 3.886. I mean, it kind of puts it in line with the Audi SQ5 and the SQ7. In the past, you need to remember this car was capable of getting, what, 3.5 AT7? Or was it even 3.4 AT7? The SQ8 TDI had a ridiculously low 0 to 60. It handled pretty well. And now it's behind the BMW X2, which handles a little bit better. It's behind the brand new Audi SQ8 e-tron. Once again, it's one of those situations where the old Audi is just making way, it's being nerfed because the new Audi's got to come in and they want to be the big boys on the block. So SQ8, unfortunately, that's kicked out of the elite tier of all surface tire cars, which isn't saying much because it's all surface tires, but still, it is a massive loser. Moving on, this is ironic, it's Jerry. So Jerry is a winner, ladies and gentlemen. The RQ has increased by 1, yes, but the handling has also increased by 1. From what it was a 65, it went to a 66, and now a 67. I guarantee you, I have a feeling that Hutch is doing this just to spite me. But yeah, 5.180, it puts it in line with like the Audi Avant RS2. It handles better than the Bentley Continental. Still doesn't handle as well as the Audi S3 or the Subaru Impreza or the Peugeot Flux. But yeah, it definitely isn't an RQ65 anymore, maybe, with the handling buff. I mean, it went from 79 to 80. That means it goes from 88 handling to 89 handling. So yeah, I mean, good for Jerry, the glow up of Jerry. Here's a big failure. The Lancia D50, the MRA has decreased from a 120 to 101. I know what you guys are thinking. 101 is still really good MRA. It is, but as you can see, it isn't even the premier dragster for the Ultras anymore. If you look at the times at the bottom, it loses to the BMW M5, the Holden Fiji. It loses even to the Spikers. So the Lancia D50, I mean, it's crazy what a little MRA change can do. Even though it has an MRA of more than 100 still, it just isn't making that impact anymore. The only thing the D50 brings to the table now is test bowl, and that's it. Now I've got another winner, the Chevrolet Camaro LS. Earlier on, we saw the Altria go from medium to low. Now we're seeing the Supra go from low to medium. The RQ has increased by 5. Crazy. It went up by 5 just because it went up to medium. Not bad though, because it's a medium ground clearance car now. I don't know if it'll stay that way forever, but it also has 89 handling, so that's actually not too bad for a super rare. And last but not least, the last winner that I have, which I think is going to make a pretty significant impact, is the GMC Denali XT. Its handling increased by 1, the RQ increased by 1, but as you can see, with that 1 handling increase, it actually took away the City Street Small title from the Dodge Hornet. The Dodge Hornet was the best for City Street Small and medium for, well, since American Frontier, basically. But now the GMC Denali and its a little handling buff, it has become the best option for City Street Small. Hornet's still the best for medium, but the Denali, making that much of a difference of 1 handling, that changes up the rare meta. And it might bring the GMC Denali back from the dead to Blossom Choice. It used to be Blossom Choice, got kicked out. It might come back. Maybe. I'll think about that going on. But anyway, guys, those are the winners and losers of European Grand Tour. I know I didn't cover everything. I know that there are other cars out there, example, the Renault Twizy, that got a handling buff, right? So that is definitely a winner as well. But I didn't have the time to include everything. So those were just some of my Q-rated picks, I guess. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know down in the comments below which was a winner and loser that I did not include that you feel really strongly about as, either a detriment or a huge positive to your garage in terms of, update 23 changes. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a
so
jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy. Turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
Hey, so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold